They say her boyfriend killed her and then had a standoff with officers.
This is Auriel Lowe, described by her family as a loving daughter, an avid reader, and a hard worker. Ariel had a bright future ahead at Duke.
It's your girl, Mrs. Tony 2 Times, and I'm back with another video. In this episode of Hood Tales, let's take it to Durham, North Carolina, to discuss the case of a beloved nurse's online romance that turned fatal. But before we get into this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Turn your notifications on so you don't miss any future uploads. Stay tuned until the end to hear the whole story. Everything in this video is alleged. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Over the years, we have covered stories about the dangers of online dating and their devastating outcomes. Most of us are aware of the risk of online dating, but others are not, or they are willing to give someone the benefit of the doubt because their desire to meet someone outweighs the risks. And some may do their due diligence to find out as much information on a person as possible, and things seem to check out fine. Despite all of the cautionary steps you take, you never know what a person is truly capable of. This is the story of Auriel Lowe. Ariel was born and raised in Santa Clarita, California, surrounded by a family who adored her deeply. Her father, Paul, and her stepmother, Teresa, describe her as their bright light, a beautiful woman who poured compassion, dedication, and faith into everything she did. She loved horseback riding, motorcycle riding, travel, and getting lost in a good book. She encouraged her younger brother, celebrated every win with her loved ones, and supported people with a loyalty that surpassed expectations. If she loved you, she supported you with everything in her. As she grew older, Ariel found her calling in caretaking and healing. Her heart naturally gravitated toward the medical field. After earning her master's degree from Jacksonville State University, she pushed her way through hospitals, long shifts, and high-intensity units to build the future she dreamed of. In 2023, she moved to North Carolina after being offered an opportunity for her dream job. She worked in ICU and hyperbaric medicine, quickly proving herself to be a nurse with skill and empathy. Eventually, her work paid off. She received a promotion at Duke University Hospital, placing her on the path toward nurse anesthesiology. Ariel was ready to walk boldly into the next chapter of her life, a chapter that at first looked promising, until she met someone who would change the trajectory of her story forever. Sometime after settling in North Carolina, 34-year-old Ariel decided to give online dating a chance, a path many take when building a new life in a new place. That's where she met 31-year-old Christoper Whitley, a father of two living in Wake Forest. On the surface, I'm sure he appeared to be the typical match, friendly, attentive, seemingly interested in building something serious. To her family, Ariel mentioned him sparingly. She kept the relationship quiet, opting to navigate it privately, as many adults do when they're still feeling someone out. Teresa, her stepmother, would later reflect that Ariel seemed a bit guarded when mentioning him, something subtle but notable in hindsight. The two dated for just a few months. There were no visible public disputes, no outward signs that something was off. From all outward appearances, this was a private, new relationship still finding its footing. But behind closed doors, the dynamic was shifting in ways no one who knew Ariel could have imagined. On the morning of September 10th, 2025, Christoper had spent the night at Auriel's apartment. According to Christoper's own statements, he woke up around 5 a.m. in what he described as a poor mood. Ariel, being the caring person she was, kept asking if he was okay, consoling him with gentle check-ins meant to comfort, not aggravate. But instead of communicating or stepping away, Christoper's demeanor escalated. He became physically aggressive, striking her, smashing glass in the process, and eventually applying force to her neck. By 5:30 a.m., Ariel's life had taken a devastating turn. Christoper made no attempt to call for help. Instead, he stayed in the apartment. Hours passed, and Christoper still remained inside, pacing, calling, confessing to what he had done, but not to authorities. Between 5:30 a.m. and 10 a.m., Christoper lingered inside the apartment with Ariel. The choices he made during that window were unsettling and deeply disorienting for everyone he contacted. Around 10 a.m., he called his brother and admitted to what had happened. Shortly after, he FaceTimed an ex-girlfriend, showing her Ariel as she lay on the floor. Shocked and terrified, she made the first 911 call at 10:22 a.m., telling the dispatcher through gasps, "My friend just called me. He said he," and then switched to FaceTime. She didn't know the address, she didn't know exactly where he was, but she knew something was horribly wrong. Dispatchers used Christoper's phone number to track his location through AT&T, leading them to Laurel Springs Drive. But Christoper wasn't done. He contacted another friend, sending images. That friend initially thought he was joking until the pictures came through. At one point, Christoper even called Duke University police, telling them he forgave the friend who reported him, all while remaining inside the apartment, armed, pacing, and spiraling. By 12:30 p.m., Durham police labeled the situation a barricaded subject. They formed a perimeter around the building. SWAT arrived. Negotiators attempted communication. Christoper stayed inside for hours, sitting on the couch with a firearm, according to the dispatch log. Eventually, after speaking with family members who urged him to surrender, he walked out peacefully. Inside the apartment, officers found Ariel. The medical examiner would later confirm that asphyxiation due to strangulation was the cause of what followed. The world was just learning what had happened, but for her family, a nightmare had unfolded that words could hardly capture. Paul and Teresa Lowe faced the unthinkable. Their daughter, this radiant, dedicated, loving woman, was gone in a way that shattered every part of their world. Paul described the emotional aftermath as a unique kind of pain. Teresa said that Ariel always tried to help people, even those who didn't deserve that kind of grace. She had flown home for Mother's Day, attended her brother's first stage performance in June, encouraged others, prayed with her patients, and lived with intention. Her stepmother tearfully recalled, "She supported you 150%. She tried to fix people. She thought she could help him." In the days following the tragedy, numerous women came forward with their own stories about Christoper, stories that painted a picture of a man with a history of volatile behavior, including a 2019 conviction for putting his hands on a family member in Texas. But Ariel seemingly never knew the full scope. She only saw what he allowed her to see. Ariel's family now carries not just their grief, but the lingering question of why. Why she didn't feel safe telling them more, why the signals weren't stronger, and why someone with Christoper's past could so easily create a dating profile and start fresh. Christoper Whitley was charged with first-degree hit and remains held without bond in Durham County Jail. In his statement to police, Christoper allegedly said he had to finish Ariel off because he knew she had a firearm and he feared that she would use it on him after he initially put his hands on her. During his first court appearance, prosecutors outlined his past convictions and the unsettling details of the timeline that morning. Christoper Whitley's next status hearing is scheduled for January 15, 2026. Until then, he awaits trial while the Lowe family awaits justice. Christoper Whitley is innocent until proven guilty. When tragedies like this happen, people too often rush to question the victim, saying what they should have known, what they should have seen, and what they should have done differently. But the truth is much more complicated. People like Christoper often hide behind a carefully crafted version of themselves, one they present early on, before the cracks begin to show. By the time the darker parts of their personality appear, the other person is already emotionally invested, already hopeful, already trusting. Auriel's desire to find a good man and become a wife and mother probably motivated her decision to give someone a chance she probably shouldn't have. She was a kind woman who thought she met someone genuine. She fell for the version he introduced before the real version emerged. In my opinion, there was a darkness already living inside of Christoper that could have possibly been disturbed by the love given to him by Ariel. Some people don't know love or want love. They want to control and dominate. Ariel's story is a reminder that even when we take precautions, even when we believe we're being careful, hidden behavior and private instability can slip through the cracks. Her family now advocates for safer dating app standards, background transparency, verification, and accountability, hoping that her experience sparks real change. But above everything else, they want the world to remember who she truly was: a daughter, a sister, a devoted nurse, a woman full of dreams, and a life built on compassion, hard work, and hope. I'll leave the link to the GoFundMe, which was started on behalf of her family, if you feel inclined to donate. Auriel's story should not be remembered for the tragedy that ended her journey, but for the light she brought into every life she touched. My deepest condolences to her family, and may Ariel rest in peace. Fam, tell me your thoughts on this story in the comments below. Alright fam, that's it for this episode of Hood Tales. Thank you so much for watching. If this story moved you, consider liking and sharing. Subscribe for more stories like this and for the stories behind the headlines, because behind them all are lives forever changed. This is your girl, Mrs. Tony 2 Times. Until next time.